Hey guys, and welcome to Surviving the Aftermath. And if that sounds familiar, surviving Mars? Yes, this is the latest in what is going to be a franchise of surviving games. Surviving Mars was the first. Now, Surviving the Aftermath, a post-nuclear apocalypse game. And what's to come? Who knows? Surviving the Dark Ages, a medieval version. Surviving the Stone Age, a prehistoric version. Surviving the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expected that. It's published, of course, by Paradox. It's developed by Ice Flake Studios, who I must admit I hadn't heard of before this. What can I tell you about it? It's going into early access. It's being announced. Well, it's been announced within the last hour, because I'm timing this for when the embargo lifts, which is immediately after their announcement. It's just been announced. It'll be going into early access. It's going to be in early access for about a year, apparently, and then and during that period, this might be a little bit controversial. It's going to be exclusive on Epic Games. That's right. It's not going to be available on Steam until it goes into full release. So, like in a year's time, it'll be on Steam, apparently. Price, I've no idea. I don't know when the release date into early access is going to be. It could be today. I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Don't know the price. What I can tell you is that I'm going to be releasing 3 or 4 episodes of this today. Oh yeah, I'm going to keep the episodes down to about 30 minutes. You're going to be getting something like 2 hours of content today. Depends how voracious your appetites for this game are. So I'm going to be putting that out, and then tomorrow there's going to be a live stream on this game as well. 3-hour live stream starting at 7 p.m. UK time, which is like 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US, and 8 p.m. on the continent. So if you want to see more of this game, if you're even more hungry, then yeah, come along to the live stream tomorrow. It's going to be playing the game, the Q&A, and talking about it, and just generally having some fun. All right, should we get into actually playing the game? I think that might be a good idea. This is what's it like? It does have some similarities to Surviving Mars, but probably the best description would be a blend of Banished and Frostpunk, which that sounds pretty encouraging, doesn't it? A blend of Banished and Frostpunk. You'll see the similarities. Do we want the tutorial on? I'm going to say no, and I'll explain that when we get into the game. I'll show you why. Okay, this is the first thing that is a bit like Surviving Mars. The difficulty level is built up from a whole bunch of choices. The environment, catastrophes, resources, survivors, challenge, and gatekeeper. What's different from Surviving Mars is if you play on the simplest levels of Surviving Mars, the game offers you no challenge whatsoever, and it kind of spoils it. This game, even on the easiest levels, will offer a little challenge. Not a huge challenge, right? But it will offer a little challenge. So I'm going to play through this first playthrough on the easiest levels, and then I'll probably do a second playthrough at some point on really hard difficulty. And maybe I might even do the live stream on hard difficulty, but we'll see. Let's get on with this. So I'm going to go with the environment. I'm going to go with the easiest environment. The climate is temperate and humid. It goes up to hot and dry. We'll get 40% of the soil will be fertile, whereas down here it's like 10%. So there's very little fertile soil to grow crops on. We're going to go with that. Catastrophes. Now the catastrophes can be, even on the easiest level, can be a bit of a nightmare. So, like the first time you play this, I would definitely recommend play it on easy. And you can see as you step it up, the difficulty increases. So we're at 6% off the first one. That would take it to 11. If we go with common catastrophes, it goes up to 17. If you go up to frequent catastrophes, it goes up to 28. We'll go with occasional catastrophes. They're still frequent. Occasional catastrophes are still frequent. And if you get a bad run of like the same catastrophe, even on the easiest level, it can cause you problems. So we're going to go with that. Resources. This is kind of like Frostpunk, where you've got gatherable resources just lying around, planks and metal and plastic and stuff. We'll go with the plentiful starting resources. Survivors. This, to be honest, isn't going to make a lot of difference. I would say this is almost irrelevant. So I'm going to go with the easiest. You will pick up new people very quickly. So I don't think it makes a hell of a lot of difference. This one does make a difference. You'll see once we get into the game. You'll see that there's there's managing your colony, which is kind of like a real-time game, but you've also got a world map, which has a different set of gameplay, and this controls how difficult that is, and it will make a kind of a big change to the difficulty level. So I'm going to go with the easiest again. And then the gatekeeper, this is kind of, there are random events, and this will set how kind or harsh the events are. Now this is interesting though. If you look at the first one, so we're at 28% difficulty. That takes it up to 33. Okay, this is lenient and helpful. This is challenging but fair, and it goes up from 33 to 39. Now the third one, suffering or success, is just random. Right? It might be very nice to you, it might be very harsh to you, and consequently, if we go to that one, the difficulty doesn't increase. It's the same. So you know what? We'll go with that. We'll go with chaotic, because it could be very good to us, it could be very harsh. So that'll increase the randomness of the random events. And then you can choose a flag for your colony. I'm going to go with Skystorm Blue. And now the artwork, people are going to be really divided about the art style of this game. I've got to say, in my opinion, this is not a particularly pretty game. But I would say kind of ignore the visual style, focus on the gameplay, because the gameplay gets pretty interesting. I like this flag one. I did think about the skull and crossbones, but that's kind of a bit meh. Yeah. But you see, like the art style, I'm really not sure. I'm going to go with the flag. I'm going to go with the flag waving. Now, the colony name. Now, when I started playing this, even though there's no zombies in, I kind of got a bit of a Walking Dead feel about this, and I was going to call my my colony Negan, because it's kind of a bit like that. The whole like in the later series, the Hilltop Kingdom, Negan kind of conflict. And I was going to call the colony Negan. We're going to be Negan and like shooting people and turning people away and being really heartless. So kind of a normal series for me. And then I thought, nah, I'm going to go with something a bit different. So you know how they're all like, I'm Negan. No, we're Brian. This is going to be the colony of Brian. I'm Brian, and so is my wife. So now you can get it to offer you random names if you want, but if you click on it, then you can go, this is going to be the colony of Brian. So that's 2 Monty Python references already. And then rebuild and prosper, that's quite a good one actually. Divide and conquer, nah. Survive and thrive. You know what, I might go survive and thrive. Yeah, we'll do that one. Alright, then we get a nice little summary. Click that and we're into the game. Alrighty. Now, is it in a bit of a weird order, I think. Now, how banished is that? Seriously. I'm going to pause this. There's not going to be a lot of pausing in this, which will amaze you. You'll be like, oh my god, where's Sky? Like, what? Who are you? What have you done with Sky? So we start off with very banished, like a stockpile. We've got a stockpile with wood and concrete and metal and plastic, and we've got a bunker which has got a bunch of other stuff. So it's got some tools. Tools in this very banished, like the efficiency of your people, if they haven't got tools, plummets, and you can get into trouble really quick if you run out of tools. We've got now. Here's a criticism, right? Tooltips. Where are the tooltips? But remember, it's an early access game. So, I'm sure tooltips will be coming. And there are tooltips for some things, but like with this, it's kind of annoying. Now, you can go up here and it'll show you that symbol is tools. But like when you start playing, some of these symbols, it's like, what the hell is that? It's actually jerky. Potatoes, this is canned fruit, this is clothes, and this is medicine. And then over here, this is our food storage. Now, okay, first thing you need to do is start gathering stuff. Okay, so the way that you gather wood and concrete is with the stockpile. And what you do, you've got a work area, this circle here, and you can move this work area. So we can say, okay, you know what? I want you to come over here and gather these planks and this concrete. That's what we're going to start doing. So start working over here. And it's the same mechanism with the food storage. You can set a work area from there, and you'll see that there are berries all over the place. And we can start off over here and say, right, gather these berries, please. So that's how we start off, gathering some food and gathering some planks and some concrete. Right, off we go. Awesome. Now, as well as planks and concrete, we want to be bringing in, this is very important, we want to be bringing in plastic and metal. So the first thing we're going to do, even though up here it says 12 colonists are homeless, yeah, well, they'll just have to wait a little bit, because the first thing we're going to do is go over here to our resources tab, and we're going to build a scrapper, which brings in metal, and a recycler, which brings in plastic. Right, so scrapper first. Now it highlights we've got metal over there, we've got metal over there, and this map, this is where you build your colony. Okay, and this is just for building your colony. We'll talk about the outside world in a second. This is kind of a self-contained little area. So this is the extent in this direction, and then it goes all the way up. It's quite big. It goes all the way up here, and then goes all the way across here, and then down here. All right, so you can see it's quite a big area. And scattered around this place are things like metal junk piles and plastic junk piles and whatever. So we've got more metal out there. We've got a metal there. Okay, so I think we're going to start. We want this kind of up here in this direction. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a road going out here. So let's have let's build a road. I'm going to put in a dirt road going. Now I'm going to run it up to there, and we'll remove those planks. So we're getting rid of these planks over here. I think I'm going to get rid of. The only thing is, this is fertile soil. This like almost looks like concrete. This is barren. This is kind of normal, and then this really green stuff is fertile. And depending on how hard a setting you've chosen, you're going to have to look after your fertile soil, because that's where you're going to be growing crops. In this particular instance, we've got a fair amount of fertile soil. So yeah, I would prefer not to put these things on the fertile soil. I tell you what we'll do. I think we'll put them over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a road. I'm going to put a road running. Let's see. Let's put a road running across there to this pile over here. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to save this fertile soil. We'll probably have some farming going on in there, and we'll put in a scrapper. So this is going to be bringing in metal. I'm going to put that. I'm going to leave a space and put that there. And now let's see. Then we want our recycler. We've got plastic right there, so that's a good starting point. We've also got plastic over there. Where else? We've got some plastic there. Some way up there. There's plenty way up there actually. Not a lot on this side. One little bit there. So yeah, for now, I'm just going to put this next door to this. Again, I'm going to leave a space so they can walk in between them. Oh no, I can't put it there because that's in the way. Oh man. Oh, that's a pain. Now I can set it back one, so that's what I'm going to do. How annoying's that? What about? No, I can't put it there. Oh man. Okay. Now I could turn it around that way, but I don't think I want to. I'm just going to set it back one then. So that goes in there. All right. The other thing that we want to build early on, so this is going to bring, the scrapper's going to bring in metal. It's going to turn, that's plastic, it's going to turn metal scrap into metal and a byproduct called junk. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's speed this up a little bit. And the recycler is going to bring in plastic and a byproduct, which is fibre, and fibre is used to make clothes. Then we've got something called parts. Now junk can get turned into parts, and then parts can be turned into like advanced buildings and stuff. We've also got tools and clothes that we need to produce. But for now, the most important building, we look over here, it's this. This is the gate ruins, and this is kind of the entrance and exit to the rest of the world. as represented by the world map. So what we're going to do, let's see. If I go to here, this is the gate. And it takes 20 planks, 15 concrete, 15 metal, which we haven't quite got, and 5 plastic, which we've got. So metal is the thing that we need. So I'm going to build, and you can only build it here, right? It's a set placement. So we'll throw that in because we really want to get that built. Although, for some reason, like all these other buildings show you the progress. So the scrapper is working. I need to, again, move the work area. And this is going to bring in metal. Now, where's the, this is the closest, isn't it? Yeah, let's get this one done out of the way first. So let's bring in metal from there, right? And metal is the thing that we need the most of to get this running and get some other buildings up and running. So I think I'm going to have a couple of people working on this. Now, the way the workers work is you have 2 types of jobs: carriers and workers. And you can see we started off with 8 adults. We've got 6 carriers and 2 workers, and the 2 workers are working at one's working at the scrapper, and one is working at the recycler. Now, I'm going to get another person working at the scrapper. The carriers work like labourers in Banished, so their job is to just like do all the fetching and carrying. So let's have a look at this. Right, we've exhausted that work area, so let's move over there and clear that area. How are we doing with the berries? We've cleared the berries. Now this is something that's going to annoy some people. I'm pretty sure about this. These work areas, you have to keep moving them, and they exhaust them pretty quickly. So you're going to be moving these quite a lot. All right. So having got that, having got the gate going, and I don't know why it doesn't show you the progress and what you're waiting for. Now, I know that we're actually waiting for a little bit of metal, but I don't know why that doesn't show the progress. Everything else shows the progress. Okay, we've got 12 homeless colonists. We need to build some houses. So now that I've got the gate going, I'm going to build... Oh, and we've completed the gate. Hooray! And there was much rejoicing. And now, as soon as you complete the gate, you will get instantly your first set of survivors seeking to join your colony. Awesome. And this group consists of 2 adults and 1 child. And sometimes they'll have, most of the time, they will have some supplies with them. It could be a bit of food, maybe some tools, maybe some clothing, like whatever. And occasionally, a group will include a specialist. Specialists are very important because it's specialists that go out outside the colony onto the world map and do all kinds of interesting things, which I'll show you in a minute. And they have a set of skills. Leadership is not... it hasn't been implemented yet. That's coming, but they get bonuses to various things. They have different skill sets. This guy has got a bonus to movement. It has rubbish attack, so it's not a good fighter, but has decent bonuses to both researching and scavenging, which means they can bring in research points and scavenging and various. They can scavenge materials. So this is a resource multiplier. This is a science point multiplier. We'll talk about more about that when we're actually getting those. So let's accept that for now. Cool, excellent. Let's get some houses built. So there are you start off. Let me slow this down. You start off with 2 types of houses: tents and emergency shelters. Tents house 2 people. Emergency shelters house 6. We've got 15 people, so I'm going to build 3 emergency shelters now. Looking at this, I think I'm going to start my housing probably down here. So I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to have 1 going in there, and then I'm going to leave a gap, and I'll have 1 going in there, and then I think I'll probably have another 1 going in there. Right, that'll give me enough for 18 people. Perfect. Right, get those built. Now you can prioritize these. So like if I wanted to get this one built first, I could increase the priority on this one. And you can also decrease the priority if you want. And that just applies to the building of the buildings. So that's that. Now, down here you can see the world map has now got the exclamation mark. That says, here's Platty, our specialist. If we click on this, we can see Platty, this is Platty. Platty on the world map. Now, this is another pretty big area. You can see it extends out quite a big area. And there are all these different areas which start off all being unknown, unexplored. And you have to go and explore them, and there'll be various things. Like over here, for example, in our starting region, we start off with a farm. And that farm has 35 jerky that can be scavenged. Right? So I could send Platty over here to scavenge this. Now, you'll be able to get a certain amount of that jerky each time you send your specialist to scavenge, and that is multiple. So let's say, for example, that they could scavenge 5 at a time. Platty, come here. Where's Platty? There we go. Platty's got a 3 scavenge multiplier. So instead of collecting 5, they might collect 15, for example. So that's how that works. But initially, you want to get your scavengers, your specialists, sorry, scavenging for things that you can't produce yourself, or like don't waste time on things that you don't need. So like food. Right now, we start off with a bunch of food. We're not desperate for food, so there's no point going and scavenging this yet. It's best to kind of leave it there, and maybe we'll scavenge it like if we get into a food crisis for some reason or other. So I'm going to just like go over here now. I've got 6 action points, which I can move up to a distance of 6. And I will say that the pathing is god-awful. It really is absolutely atrocious. But hey, it is what it is. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to scan. I'll scan this area. So move over here, has a bit of a look, and we have found some concrete. This is a factory. And there's up to 30 concrete that we can scavenge. And basically, you can go and you can scavenge that. It may take you multiple turns to scavenge it all. But once it's gone, right? And you can see that you've got hazards and danger. Danger is the chance of your specialist taking damage. And then hazards is the amount of damage that they would take. So it can be 1, 2, or 3 red skulls. Indicating how much damage they might take if something bad happens to them. Okay, and then that's it. So they once they scout or once they scavenge, it uses up the rest of their action points. So I think we only moved like 2, but the other 4 action points are taken up by scouting, and that's it. We go back to the world map now. Our specialist can move. I think it's twice a day. It certainly says it's twice a day. So you'll be going back and moving them like fairly frequently. All right, these guys. What are these guys doing? Okay, so we've got 7 people who can be going out and carrying and doing stuff. So we've got the berries. That's fine. We've got them bringing in concrete and planks. That's good. We've got 2 workers bringing in metal. Good. And we've got 1 worker at the moment who's bringing in plastic and fibre. Okay, good. Right, next thing I'm going to do is start getting some food going. Now, I've been unlucky with this map because there is no water nearby. The nearest water is quite distant. So, no, there's water over here. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's me. Ignore me. I'm just a moron. So I'm going to put in a fisherman. There are initially 3 ways that you can produce food. Trappers produce meat. And basically, every so often they produce 2 meat. It's that simple. Oh my god! That's a meteor that's just come down and okay, yeah. So a meteor has just come down and struck our scrapper, and we now need to repair this. So I'll click on repair, and that's going to take 2 planks. And this is something. There are all kinds of events that can happen that may require you to have various things in stock. And so, yeah, it's a good idea to try and keep a bit of stuff in stock all the time for various things that happen. Now, we're -3 on water at the moment. Let's do the water first. So, water. How does water work? Well, this is a well, and the well produces 12 water, and it has an area which is non-movable. If I was to put another well that overlapped that area, then they would both get reduced production. Now, it doesn't show you the area of this one, and I guess that's probably going to be one of the first mods to this game. Will be show you these radiuses so that you can actually like place them accurately. What I'm going to do for now, let's see. So if I go there, so I would want this about there, wouldn't I? Yeah. All right. So let's put this well. Let's put that well there, and I'm going to run a road out here. Let's run the road out to there, and I'm going to put in that fisherman, like I said, to start getting some food coming in. So let's get, what do I want? I want a fishing hut, which I'm going to put in somewhere over here. There would work. I probably should have been a bit more thoughtful about where, you know what, let's cancel constructing that well. Let's put the fishing hut in first, would make more sense. So if I put the fishing hut in, say there. Yeah, let's put the fishing hut in there, and then we'll put the well just inside that. That'll be fine. So water well can go there. Alright, cool. Alright, now you'll notice that there are patches of nuclear waste lying around. These are polluted areas that you can't build on. Now you can remove those. You can remove those. We'll get to that later. It's a slightly more advanced building. We can't do anything about that at the moment, so we have to work around that. Let's make sure that we've got plenty of planks coming in. We've got concrete, a little bit more concrete coming in. That's fine. We don't have enough resources to build the fishing hut. We have built all of our accommodation, so we haven't got anybody waiting for somewhere to live. Let's go to the world map again. So we can now go and do some concrete. Now I could go and try and harvest some concrete if I wanted to, but really I want to focus on things that I can't produce within the colony. Okay, so for example, I can scavenge planks and concrete, plastic and metal, fibre. I can't yet get parts. I can't get components other than here or in random events. So components is something you want to bring in. Electronics is the same. Fun boxes are the same. Tools is not a bad thing to bring in. Clothing would not be a bad thing to bring in. There are 3 types of medicine. There's regular medicine, which treats injuries. There's antibiotics, which treats infections. And then there's iodine pills, which treat radiation sickness. So looking for those would be a good thing. And then this is the one that you really want to get, science points, so you can start moving up the tech tree. So we're just going to carry on looking around. So let's go and search over here. I'm looking for things like science points particularly. Okay, so there's some plastic there. But this one has no hazards and no danger, so I can just go and get that if I want. This one, there's a potential hazard, there's potential danger to going and scavenging here. All right, so that's that done. Right, how we doing with the fishing? We are waiting on some planks. So we're just waiting for our guys to go out and scavenge up these planks, which they're getting on with. They're bringing in some berries. All right, cool. So I think I want to keep food coming in. Food, very, very important. I've dealt with water. Let's deal with food. We've got a fisherman going. I want to get some crops going. So I'm going to get some crops going. Now, you can't build on this barren, where is it? There you go, barren soil. You can't build on barren soil. This is normal soil, and then this darker green is fertile soil, and you get a decent harvest on the normal, but you'll get slightly better harvest on this stuff. All the colonists want to talk to me. Let's get this. Put this in, and I'm going to put this in. Let's rotate it that way, and let's have our first field going in there. Doesn't require any materials to construct. Literally, it's just the time it takes to like plough the field, plant the seeds. That's it. Right. So we've got one of our first random event, and we've got a water shortage as well. What I should do is actually increase the priority on that. It is getting built. They've got all the materials. It is getting built. Where are we? We've only got 69 water left, and we're losing 3 per God knows what. Let's go and see what these guys are. Looting local. A couple of colonists have spotted some sort of vehicle stuck down a steep crevasse. It might still have some useful stuff left in this siding, but climbing down without proper gear will be dangerous. They want to try it nonetheless, claiming it will surely be worth the effort. Now, these things are random. There don't seem to be many events. You'll get this event over and over again, but with very, very differing results, right? And it can be very good sometimes, and it can be quite bad sometimes. So now you can say, I don't want to take the risk, but obviously we always want to take the risk, don't we? So let's let them try. And here you go. You get a mixture of good and bad. We got 3 components, which is a good result because we can only get these through random events or on the world map. We can't manufacture them ourselves in the colony. But one of our colonists has become injured. We need to do something about that. So we'll accept that. And then, because we've got an injured colonist, we're going to have to try and heal him. So I'm going to get a medical tent set up. And I'm going to set my medical tent up. Let's flip you around. And I'm going to put my medical tent in there, I think. Yeah. It's as good a place as any for it. Boom. In it goes. All right. Now, food, I'm kind of okay for at the moment, so I'm going to prioritise getting that built. This is on medium priority. That just needs... It only needs, mind you, it only needs 1 more wood. Now I'm... You know what? We'll let that get done first. Let's get that finished. Since it's only 1 plank, let's have a look. Yeah, we've got planks. Now, you can have multiple stockpiles, by the way, if you want. But they'll get on with it. They'll bring that stuff in. So we've got colonist Isaac is injured. Now, if we don't heal him quick enough, he'll die. So we do need to try and get onto that. We've got 2 deposits depleted, which is it looks like. Have we used up? Yeah, we've used up the berries, so we've got to move this around. You can see how quickly these get depleted. This is a bit micromanagey, I have to say. You will get a bit annoyed at moving these around, but is what it is. So get over it. We've got some planks coming in there. How many have we got left? We've got 4 planks coming in, and then I'll have to move that one. All right, how are we doing? Okay, we've got 3 planks. We need another 7. Now, there is another way to get planks coming in. We could set up... Where are you? We could set up a sawmill. Now, the sawmill, they cut down trees and saw them into planks. And then there's also a forester, which allows you to replant areas. I think having a sawmill... some of these buildings, in fact, the majority of these buildings are actually quite big. Oh, our specialist's ready again. This is the other kind of micromanaging thing, because like you can't queue up actions, so you've got to go into here like twice a day and move your specialist. Now, and if you've got like 3 or 4 specialists, then they don't all activate at the same time, so you can find yourself going into the world map like very frequently. But you'll see as we go on. Let's scout the next area. I'm going to move across a bit. I'm going to use up my movement points first and then scout there. Science points! Hooray! This contains 304 science points. Now, normally, without modifiers, you can pick up like 50, I think it's 50 science per turn. But because we've got a research multiplier of 3, it means that Platty can pick up 150 per go. So we're definitely going to be getting that next. Awesome sauce, and then we can start getting into the tech tree, which will be awesome. Right, we've got our field. I'm going to select a crop, and I would heartily recommend you go for corn. You can either go for corn initially, which has a normal growth rate but a low yield, or you can go for potatoes, which have a slow growth but a medium yield. And the reason that I say go for the fast-growing one, the fast-growing corn, is because the catastrophes are, even on occasional catastrophes, the catastrophes happen so often that you won't have time to grow potatoes. It takes a long time to grow potatoes, and what usually happens is you start growing potatoes and then some kind of catastrophe comes along that makes you harvest them early. So you're actually better off just going for corn. Now, each time we set up one of these new buildings, like the field allocates a person. So We started off with, well, we have 10 adults. 5 of them are now workers, and 5 of them are carriers. And you need to make sure that you keep some carriers to go and get things like berries and bring in your planks and your concrete and whatever. We've got somebody working in the fishing now, so every so often they will bring in. Here we go, it's ticking up. Every so often they will bring in 2 fish, and it's just there's the radius of where you place it doesn't matter. It's just, it always brings in 2 fish. So that's that. Okay, we're up to yeah, good. Prioritize that. Get that built, because as soon as that gets built, here we go. We've depleted the planks, so that's going to disappear, I think. Yep, there it goes. Let's slow it down because we want to get some more coming in. So see how quickly you have to move the work areas. It is a bit of a pain, I have to say. Let's get some concrete and some planks coming in, and we'll also, let's see. We've still got a few berries to collect from that one. Okay, fine. Let's crank this up and get the medical tent built. Hooray! And so now, there we go. There was Isaac with a little broken bone icon over his head. He goes in here. Here we go. Occupants 1 of. We can treat up to 2 people at a time. And we can see we've got Isaac in here. And we're treating him. And he's already 62% treated. Now, if you've got medicine, then they'll use medicine, like regular medicine, to treat this kind of injury. If it's an infection, then you need antibiotics. And let's go into here for a second, because there's a whole bunch of stuff, resources, that you can't see on here. For example, firewood. You can't see firewood on here. If we go into the statistics, we can see that there's a whole bunch of stuff. So for like firewood, here you go, firewood. We haven't got any firewood at the moment, but it's not listed on that top list. Same with antibiotics and iodine pills. Antibiotics are used for infections. Iodine pills are used for radiation sickness. Whew, man. So there we go. Now, if we go to the world map, ooh, I wonder if we're in range. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are. Hooray! So you can see that because we've got a 3 times multiplier, Platty is going to bring in 150 science points. So all we do, right click, Platty goes over there, brings in 150 science points, which means that we now have 150.4 points left. So next turn we can scavenge another 150 points, which would leave 4 points. And then if we want, we can either waste it. Well, it's going to. So you're going to spend another turn if you want the final 4 points. So you kind of have to decide whether that's a useful way to spend your time or whether you should go and do something else. Alrighty, so now we can start going into the tech tree and spending our points. And I already know what we're gonna spend our points on. It's going to be community, but I want to talk about this in more depth. So if you want to find out about the tech tree, guess what? Yes, you're going to have to come back for the next episode. This episode's been long enough, and I want to get several episodes out today. So there it is, guys. This is surviving the aftermath. You can see lots of elements of Banished, bit of Frostpunk in there, bit of surviving Mars. Is it pretty? I'm not going to say that this is a pretty game. There's still so much to see. So many buildings. All kinds of like tools and tailors. Loads of buildings that we haven't even unlocked yet because we've got to go into the tech tree and start unlocking them. There's energy. There's all kinds of housing stuff. There's weird things. And there's bartering. There's radar for disaster forecasting. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And you're going to want to know about it. So guys, we'll leave it there. The next episode is going to be out pretty shortly. So don't miss that. I hope you enjoyed it. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you for the next one. Remember, live stream tomorrow as well. I'll keep reminding you about that. I'll catch you for the next one. Peace out.